Just finished recording a video. Welcome, by the way, or welcome back. Still in this park next to this beautiful Hawaiian or king palm or whatever it is. I've looked it up before, but I don't seem to recall what we've decided as humanity to call this particular version of a pine tree standing underneath, or palm tree, excuse me. Standing underneath this pine tree, perhaps that's the reason why I misspoke. But I just got emotional after finishing the video that I just recorded. And I know that my camera is all over the place. I have no tripod for this particular excursion. Beautiful sun right up there. But nonetheless, I don't think it matters. Those that this is meant for won't care. Because it really doesn't matter, does it? In some ways, maybe in the deepest way, instability is a fact of this experience. Maybe it's an uncomfortable fact. For some, I can say that it was for me. I'm not sure that I can say that it isn't right now, because I seem to want to bring this up. But back to where I was going, I got emotional. I almost started tearing up, and that's not an uncommon thing for me these days. I've been connecting more and more to my heart, my feelings. When in the recent past, as I've experienced it at least, there is no past except for in memory and whatever you choose to hold on to in your memory. In a negative connotation, at least. It just occurs to me that I need to say this, that the secret to life is not finding anything that you desire anywhere outside of yourself. Or the point to this existence is that everything that you desire and everything you wish for is contained within you. And that includes love. This is not to call out the people that are in healthy, loving relationships with others. That's a beautiful thing, absolutely. Absolutely. But don't be confused. Don't be confused that that person, whoever it is in your relationship, is capable of loving you any better than yourself. And so what I suppose I mean to say by this, self-love is the answer. Self-acceptance is the answer. That is accepting all the parts of yourself, especially the ones that you don't like, especially the ones that you don't want to look at. Because that's where the wound is. And I believe it was Rumi who said that the cracks are where the light shines through. And you could view those parts of yourself as cracks, or fractures, if you will, or fractals, if you will. Because it's like we're all a conglomeration of everything, all together, all at once. And so those people that you witnessed in your experience, whom you have a problem with, whom you butt heads with, whom you disagree with to any degree whatsoever. I mean, don't feel bad about that. Don't make that person out to be wrong. Don't judge them. And I say these things as if I'm really telling you what to do, and I can't tell you what to do, but may I suggest to you that you should isn't the right word. May I suggest to you that you see them for what you are, or what they are. It's a funny Freudian slip, if you will. Because really you should see them as your should. Gosh, I'm not going to should you. I'm not going to should on you. I need words. I don't want to should on you. May I suggest that those experiences are pointing or attempting to point you back to yourself, to go back within, to recognize that as much as you feel separate to them, given your experience of witnessing a quote-unquote separate body, even though that is not the case, they are you, in the most literal sense. We are all each other. We all come from the same source. And so judging another, talking bad about another, which is really just judgment, but even more appropriately named projection. The way I see it, at least, is the things you judge are what you would believe about yourself if you were the way that you perceive that person to be. And like I've said, perception is reality. So if you perceive someone in a quote-unquote negative way, in a negative connotation, you're excluding them from being you. and in that same moment, excluding them from being just as much part of God as you. And if I had to define that, there's a very convenient word that we've come to call this. Thank you, Jung or Freud, or it's probably Jung, Carl Jung. The ego. And thank you to all of the beautiful souls that I have come across in my experiences for this acronym that is really the way I see what the ego is. And that is edging or easing God out. It's like, I'm gonna put that over there because that can't possibly be me. But it is you. And you just don't want to admit it. That's denial. Not the river. That's denial. Denial of self. That's saying that pridefully, in my view, that you can never possibly be that. And yet you are. Maybe suppressed. Maybe some other word. Repressed. Very similar. But maybe repressed is the more important or the more accurate word to use here. Because re means to do it again. Beautiful monarch butterfly, I believe. Big, beautiful orange guy just flew by. Gotta love that. But self-denial, that's all it is to me. So, the way I'm coming to see it, and the way I encourage you to see it, if you're capable of taking on this perception, is that if you wish to grow, you wish to become a better version of yourself, you wish to do quote unquote better in the world, whether that's financially or relationally or in whatever facet you wish. May you learn to witness the others in your reality as yourself and love them like you do. That And this makes me think of Aaron Abke, shout out to that man. Talks about the law of one a lot. Talks about Jesus a lot. As I'm coming to understand it, that is the commandment. Love God. Love your neighbor. Because they are you. In the most real sense. That is the most real thing to realize. There is no difference between you and them. They're just expressing that which you need to see about yourself. That which, let's throw off words like need even. That which you wished to see in yourself. Like, oh, wow, you're me. You're just like me. How amazing. And then the next person, wow, you're just like me. You have challenges. You have an interesting experience. You have all these things in this life experience. And I love you. And I mean that to anybody watching, really. I love you. I don't know you, perhaps. Though I do. In another sense. Because we all know each other. On a deeper level. Some don't want to admit it. Some want to repress it. Some want to deny it. That's okay. Love them anyway. Love is the way that you transform the world. But love is the way that you transform your world. Which is all that exists. And like I've said, it's as though we are going through life in absolutely individual universes based on our perceptions. So that's how we get multidimensionality. Because you're over here, so you think. You're over here, so you think. You're over here, so you think. And I mean that in the sense of talking about different people. Different people. Different expressions of the divine. And I suppose this is... I've heard this come from Buddhists. I've heard this come from Jesus. I've heard this come, or at least translated it in this way. That's why being in the middle, being in the center, the center, the heart. This is my Om necklace, by the way, for whatever that's worth. The breath of God, the source of creation, the first thing that was spoken. That brought everything into being. But if you come to the center being your heart, and if you look at the chakra system as it's traditionally laid out, which I suppose there's contention with everything, so many different ideas, people wanting to break things up into different ways. How it's most commonly referred, how it's most commonly visualized, which has meaning to me just as much as the other ones, the other references do, to be fair. But it's seen as 7 energy centers in your body. And the heart is the center. 3 below, 3 above. The reason for me personally, the Trinity, the number 3, has such meaning and value. One of the reasons, at least. Many other reasons for that. Father, mother, son, daughter, whatever. Father, mother, child. Just as another example, very quickly. Back to the point. You come to the center. It's easier to see that we are all one. That there is no separation between us. It's really fun to think about like that. It's helpful for me. Whereas in the past, as I've experienced it again, I had felt like the world was against me, whether it be through misunderstandings, and on that note, seemingly deliberate misunderstandings. Like as if the person, the being that I was perceiving in my reality was deliberately misunderstanding me. I don't see things like that so much anymore. The quote of Jesus on the cross comes to mind. For whatever that story is worth, this quote has more value than any of that. I hardly even believe that Jesus was literally crucified. I think everything in the Bible it's more useful, it's more helpful to just view these things as metaphors. And that you should crucify yourself, who you think you are. That ego. Die to who you think you are, and then rise again. And keep on doing that until there is no thought. Thought gets in the way. Knowing is where it's at. But forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. While that does seem to set a mark of delineation from what it is that I just said. I don't really think so. Because I think part of the experience, I know, there I go, thinking. I know part of this, or I know that this experience is meant in some capacities. Maybe not meant. See, words are funny like that. But it appears to me, how about this? It appears to me that the experience that many have, though I know this is illusion just like everything else, is to become lost in the sauce. To get so far away in feeling from the Creator, to make it appear by all accounts that we are separate from God. But that has meaning and purpose. For me at least, and it could for you as well. To be the greatest tool in order to recognize the preposterousness of that thought, that you could ever be separate. There has never been such a thing. We are always and have always been and will always be, if you insist upon the Trinity, back to that point of the past, present, and future, which is illusory, but connected to God. To finish that sentence. Or rather, wow, shuddered a little bit. And perhaps that's because I see it so clearly. I know it so wholeheartedly that we are all one. And there is only now. Everything else is imagination. And it's your decision. As I've said before, I find it to be much more, well, I've already said this, much more helpful. It's much more peaceful. Much less anxiety provoking, much less disheartening. to hold these truths. Hold these truths to be self-evident. And look at that. Back to the Constitution of the United States, but, you know, interesting times that we're living in right now, I must say. It's very, very strange. I love it all the same. I don't mean strange in a bad way. And perhaps strange isn't even the right word. Interesting. That's probably a better one. And like I've also said before, whatever reflection or whatever you see in your reality is just a reflection of your internal state. We're all mirrors. The whole world, the entirety of Earth is like a giant mirror. And if you could humanize it for a second, if you could bring it down to earth is what comes to mind. It just wants to be seen accurately, not in a distorted way. As far as I can tell, the accurate way to see it is that it's all love. Because that's what God is. And the name of God is I am. So that makes you all love. Your darkness, your light as you perceive it, it's all love. It's the most deep and compassionate thing. To see all of you and love yourself nonetheless. So once again, I believe I've already said it in this video, but even though I may not have met you in this experience, I love you. And I wish the best for you. And I pray you can come to see these things clearly. Because you're worth it. Yeah, you. You're worth whatever it is that you want. Till next time.